Okay, so here's a little bit of useless information for you. On pianos, there's various cloths that are used, and the easiest to spot is on the frame. And it's called bearing cloth, and it comes in a variety of colours. Ta-da! It's almost like I planned this, isn't it? It's almost like I prepared for this video. I haven't. Um, the most common one you see is the red. It's used on quite a lot of modern pianos. Steinways use it, and Yamaha use it. It's quite a common colour. The other one that's quite common is the Bluthner blue. Ta-da! As seen here, it's a royal blue, quite shiny. I like this colour. I think this is a gorgeous colour to do pianos with. Um, Now, when it comes to Bechsteins, i.e. the one that we're rebuilding at the moment, there is Bechstein blue or there's Bechstein green. Yeah, now then. I have not yet had a definitive answer from any piano technician, and several people have argued the point about why there's two colours on Bechsteins, when they stopped using Bechstein green or when they stopped using Bechstein blue, or what they're doing at the moment. I suppose that's easy enough to Google, really. But the history of the Bechstein green and blue is about as hazy as the colours there are themselves. And I've heard a story, I don't know how true it is, that an English piano tuner at some point in the past went over to the German factory and inquired about this very issue, to which the German technician said, "No, we just use green. The blue doesn't exist. We don't do blue on Bechsteins." And I don't know whether there was something just lost in translation, but this particular tuner believes that the blue felt is actually just because the original dyes that they were using back in the day for the green felt faded over time and became blue, and then people just naturally assumed that that was one of the colours that you could get Bechsteins in, just because the original pigment had been lost and it had become blue with age. I don't know how true that is. I've got no evidence to back that up. Whatever. But as in terms of this piano downstairs, we've had a big discussion about it, and we are going to do it in the green, the Bechstein green colour. Not that it makes any difference whatsoever to the actual sound of the piano, but aesthetically, because it does change it slightly. It was blue on this Bechstein originally, and I suppose we could go one way or the other. The decision has been made, and I'm just running with it. I won't give my own personal preference in terms of the colour will be, in terms of which colour I would have chosen, but green is the one that we're going with. So there you go, a piece of useless information about cloth. Going back to the dampers momentarily and carrying on with the green felt theme that I've been discussing, I've now decided to back the dampers with the green felt as well, because look at how smart that looks. And when we cut his own damper felt up, we're going to cut his own damper felt up for this piano rather than buying in a set, which I think is going to look absolutely gorgeous with that green felt underneath. Doesn't show up too much at the moment, but you wait until there's some white felt backing on those dampers and it'll look gorgeous. So just gluing that up now. Animal glue, of course, as you do, because you know how I love animal glue. And I've also got these on the go as well, the bearing pads. Just waiting for a bit of glue to dry on them, and lovely. Right, so green felt. I'm going to put some on the bottom of there as well, on the bottom of the damper guides as well, between the soundboard and that block. So green throughout. The next step in the process is to repair the lower half of the damper system, the damper bodies themselves. So there you go. This is the rail that screws into the back of the piano. That's the rail that they sit on at the moment. I don't know if I've actually gone through and said this before, but we're going to be replacing the top half of these because it's going to get sostenuto fitted, so these bits have got to be taken off so that the sostenuto version can be put on. Other than that, the rest of it's going to be cleaned down and recentered, refelted where appropriate. I love how tight they were when we took this out of the piano. I mean, I've not touched these screws yet. Look how tight those flanges were at the back, though. Hey! So they were nice and tight when they were in the piano, weren't they? That's lovely. So yeah, brilliant. So I'm going to take all these screws off now, decenter them, clean those up, decenter those as well, which is basically just taking them off. Take the felt off, clean these up, and work on the rail a bit as well, because it's not a particularly good rail. That lower part of the rail, what this bit sits on, is lifting slightly different to how these lift. It's on a slightly different arc, which means that these, as they're lifting, are rubbing slightly on there. So I'm going to modify this rail so that they lift a little bit better as well. So all new felt on this too, obviously. Clean up the wood a little bit, make it look a bit nicer. So yeah, that's what I'm going to be up to for a while. Right. Yeah, look, in all the joints of a piano, as in bits where things move like that, a little tiny piece of bushing cloth is like a red cloth around a central pin in the middle. And this machine here, I'll pull back a bit, this machine here, put that under there, look, like that, centralise it over the pin, push down, knocks the pin out of the middle, and they come off. Ta-da! Now I've got to take all the parts from here and disassemble them like that. Reason being is because they tighten up or they get too loose with age, depending on the wear and tear in the piano and a number of other varying factors. Well, when we're doing a piano, we always recenter all the parts anyway, just so that the pins in the centre are nice and tight. Well, tight as they can be. You don't want them overly tight, obviously, but these are all loose in here. They've got some side play on the top, and we want them to be all right. But we always do it anyway. We always replace all the parts. But there you go. I've got to stop saying "there you go." I say "there you go" at the end of every bloody video. But anyway, there you go. Right, we're about to order some parts for the Bechstein. I have got a nice long list here about all the stuff that we are going to order. But now we've got to take the action to bits just to check a few measurements. So I thought I'd do a short video just to do the grand hammering. So boink. There you go. Keys. Brilliant. That is all. So now we've got I'll wait for the camera to start recording. Now we've got the hammers off, you can actually see the keys. And we've got, let's have a look. Let's take one off at random and examine it. So underneath, oh, that looks like leather bushings in the bottom. And we've got, come on, focus camera. Looks like leather in the middle as well. Replaced, obviously. Look at the wear on that. Shocking, isn't it? Capstans are alright. Capstans hopefully won't need changing depending on how the new action we're fitting is going to sit. So, there you go. We've still got to sort out the tops of these keys, that's coming up. But we needed to get the keys off so that we can check the width of these pins as well as the back pins at the front down there. So we could order some fresh ones because they're a little bit corroded and rusty. So we need some fresh ones. And a
few other bits and pieces. We're not taking many measurements from here because it's getting a new action anyway, so there's not much to do on this one, on this piano. We'll see what happens. Right, okay, well that's latest job, so I might do another video of me working on these keys, but not just at the moment, because at the moment all we're working on is sending off the order to the supply company. So I will report back later.